Let's take a look at some information and charts on Tezos for Brave New Coin. So let's once again start with the market cap discussion. At 2.8 billion, Tezos has a lower market cap than the Shiba Inu scam Doge clone, and a lower market cap than many exchange tokens, OKB, Huobi token, near FTX token in value, far below Binance, BNB way up here. The competitors to Tezos, I guess, in proof of stake realm are ADA and EOS. I don't think there are many others. DOT, I guess. I mean, Tron's proof of stake, I guess. This is what worries me about ETH switching to proof of stake. You know, maybe they have enough critical mass where proof of stake will do well because that's where all the development is happening on ETH. But these proof of stake coins historically haven't really done too well and haven't really done much. Even ADA hasn't really done much yet. It's still incubating basically everything. You know, you don't hear about DeFi dApps on ADA. And the same with Tezos. I don't hear too much about what's going on with ADA or with Tezos in the DeFi and dApp realm. Important to note, they also have the Tezos Foundation has BTC in their treasury amongst some other stuff, including Tezos, including a mixture of bonds. So the foundation isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Really what I like about Tezos is the ease at which they've been able to upgrade the chain. These are all the governance proposals that are just simple votes. We have the code, we have testing, we have votes. We put them up for vote, right? The regular periods, voting periods, and that's it. You know, if you don't like it, you can vote against it. If you like it, you vote for it. So I really like that governance piece to it. The problem again with proof of stake is 25%, 26% of the total staking activity is done by Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken. Now you can always move your coins off those platforms just like you can with EOS. You can move your votes wherever. But for most people, for many people, it's just going to be easier to stake your coins on exchanges, and that creates a centralization problem. It's also pretty disgusting that Coinbase, according to this website, takes 25% of your staking reward. So if you're staking on Coinbase, move it somewhere else. You know, move it to Kraken. At least you get way better numbers there. So anyway, how this works is these bakeries need to have a staking bond of 10% of their total allotment. So if they have 100,000 Tezos being staked on the bakery, they need at least 10,000 Tezos in a bond to sort of collect the staking rewards. Something else to mention here is 50% of the total stake is foundation bakers and exchanges. So is that exactly the best case scenario for proof of stake? I don't know. You know, there's a centralization issue there as well, where the foundation appears to be collecting, and if this is wrong, you can correct me in the comments, but it appears as though they're collecting a significant amount of Tezos since inception, really, right? And Stellar ran into this problem where they were staking their own treasury and effectively diluting people even harder than they already did initially. You know, so if that's okay with people, fine, but as long as you're aware that this is what's going on, and you can say, you know, we can justify it and say the foundation needs the money to promote the ecosystem and blah, 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 right? We can go on that hamster wheel and say it's fine. And that's, right, I don't care as long as people know, right? If this is the case, if they're getting all these rewards, what are they doing with them? Where's the money going? That sort of thing. There are other exchanges besides Binance, Kraken, and Coinbase getting rewards, Gate.io, and a few others that aren't even listed here. I'm not really sure why, but there are many exchanges that are partaking in this, which is good for Tezos because it brings people on board. But if we're talking about centralization issues, you really don't want to keep your governance, your consensus algorithm, whatever you want to think of that as, up to exchanges, which may not always have your best interest in mind. So there are currently 420 bakers. 78% of the total network is being staked. So the numbers look good. Honestly, I don't know why Tezos hasn't done better other than there's just not much happening there. You know, the governance looks clean. The staking stuff looks clean. I've staked it on Kraken at one point in time. I don't hold any Tezos anymore. The adjusted reward as a delegate looks like so this is minus inflation, is around 0.76. Baking it is around 1.37 adjusted rewards, and maybe that's just not good enough compared to the ETH DeFi ecosystem where you're getting crazy APYs on some of these liquidity mining protocols, AMM pools, that sort of thing. The incentives just aren't large enough maybe for some people to buy and hold Tezos right now. Here were a list of a few dApps I could find from this website. Again, it's not many. They tried this whole we have cleaner NFTs than ETH thing to try to bring people on board. And I mean, from a business perspective, I guess that's fine, but it's kind of silly. Anyway, so they have stuff, right? I don't know too much about any of this individually. I'm sure if you're deep within the deep within the Tezos DeFi ecosystem, you know about all this. They have a DEX, they have a stable coin, more NFTs, another DEX, domain names. So they're trying, right? They've got something going on. And if we look at the transaction counts exploded. This may be DEX related. I don't actually know, but I'm assuming anytime I see on-chain activity explode like this really quickly without price sort of moving. I mean, we had what is this, a 2x increase in on-chain activity in like a week? That's not normal. So this is probably DEXs or something NFT related. You know, there's a reason here, obviously. Average transaction value is kind of flat. That's slowly rising, you know, up a little bit. But this should be incredibly bullish for any coin. And yet price hasn't really done much. Active addresses continually pushing all-time highs. Sure, a lot of this is staking related. NVTs at all-time lows. Yes, staking rewards will influence NVT. It'll show on-chain activity sort of higher than it is organically. But still, in a vacuum, why isn't this coin moving? You know, these numbers look great. 33,000 active addresses, up from less than 3,000 in 2019. NVT sort of cruising at all-time lows. So the network is poised to do stuff. I just, you know, the fundamentals look fine to me. I don't know why the party's just elsewhere right now. People would rather invest, in air quotes, invest in Shiba Inu and Doge than Tezos. The Google Trends look fine to me as well. Sort of in the middle of a range, but higher than usual. So there's still lots of search activity and inquisitions as far as what Tezos is, what it does, that sort of thing. So I'm not too sure. Honestly, why price kind of flailed a little bit since January. Sure, it's up. Basically retraced the entire move since January in a single week. And now it's back to the previous VPVR level. This is Bitfinex long shorts up here. Still mega net long, virtually no short activity. VPVR gives a nice volume support at 280. It's up $1 since then, 380. 5200 cross will be bearish soon, most likely. And I really don't know why this hasn't done better based on its on-chain metrics. In a vacuum, I'd be looking at this thinking this should easily be pushing highs, you know, and it's just not. Maybe inflation is too high. I think inflation is around 5%, 4.8%. Maybe there just isn't enough to do on Tezos. A common critique I give the chain, you know, other than buying and holding it, there's just a lot more competition now, you know. And if ETH proof of stake falters, maybe Tezos will pick up the slack. But betting on a coin failing isn't necessarily the best way to go about it. Maybe it's a hedge against proof of stake failing on ETH. You know, maybe there are proof of stake baskets out there that are buying Tezos, EOS, ADA in preparation for this ETH transition. I don't know. But this chart just looks like a mess, right? There's some continuous upward bias here, but it's not really that strong. Volumes are up on Bitfinex, certainly. It's just kind of a head scratcher, really. Any lower lows here, you'd be watching for a bull div. You really don't want to see 280 get pummeled with price, because below that, the support starts to thin out on volume, on pivots, and anything sub $1 for Tezos is probably good night for for the token in the near term. So we don't want to see a bear trend sub 280. The cloud's been a mess really since it started trading. Another chart like EOS where the cloud really doesn't help you too much. It might help you snapshot, are we bullish or bearish? So here we're below the cloud, we're bearish. I really wouldn't want to touch this again until it's, you know, this is the long entry right here. That's the long entry you're looking for. But historically, it's really failed to hold these highs for an extended period of time. Extremely volatile, messy. maybe a large percentage of the coins being on exchanges and being staked plays a role in sort of the weak hands mentality where people are just selling this at any chance they can. I don't know. I'm just trying to justify what's going on here. Putting a pitchfork on this, arguably it's, again, this is loose. This isn't something I'd look to daily, but if I'm trying to look for stuff, it did get denied at this median line and is in a potential bounce zone down here. But overall, it just doesn't look like anything I want to sit in. And again, if I'm looking for stuff, this is the half-year MA in the green here, and 5 times that. It's really never gotten past the midline, so it's never really been mega overbought before. If anything, right now, it's in a buy zone territory based on this 183 MA, which historically has been a relative low a few times. Now, an N of 2, so not like a massive data set here. But again, if I'm trying to look for stuff, this would be something to point to. How does this look going into 2022? If this can muster some sort of bullish rally. Tezos BTC, I'd be watching for this 5200 cross on the daily. It's been bearish basically since the top. And it's in this heavy volume zone historically since 2018. Tons of consolidations down here. And when these consolidations have finished, again, N of 2, not a lot of data, but when they've finished, Tezos has had decent up moves. I'd expect 20k sats on any move up from here, basically a 2x. I'd be watching for this 5200 cross. I'd be watching for price creeping above this volume area and just a series of higher highs, which it's arguably already getting. It's just, this isn't really anything. It's just a mess. It's not like coffee in. It's not a chart pattern. It's just kind of garbly-gook, right? There's nothing going on. It's like you drop some spaghetti sauce on the floor and, Rorschach type stuff. Any lower lows here, I'd watch for a bullish div again. And then Bitfinex long shorts don't really tell you much of anything, but they are net long. And then Tezos ETH, man, this is one of the more bearish charts I've seen recently, aside from Zcash, obviously, because anytime I get a chance to stab at Zcash, I will. But to see this mega drawdown consolidate and then continue, I mean, if you're looking at this BTC chart, you don't want to see this on the BTC chart, obviously. If you see lower lows like this, it's pretty clear that Tezos hasn't been able to capture value against BTC, and it's already losing quite handedly to ETH. So maybe the knife catchers will want to rotate their ETH into Tezos, I don't know, but that is not a chart that it looks like it has any strength whatsoever. I would be waiting for a 5200 cross, which may take 6 months to a year at this point if it does happen. And lastly, I'll just mention the ETH-BTC fund I trade for Techemy Capital on Enzyme.finance, a non-custodial portfolio management tool where you can deposit ETH or USDC into a smart contract that allows me to trade ETH or BTC on DEXs. I can send stuff to Aave. You can see everything transparent, AUM, allocations, all the trades I make and when, what I do and when. So even if you don't participate and you just want to see what I'm doing, you can check out the links in the description below. We also have a DeFi portfolio, which has gotten its clock cleaned over this past month. This one's more based on fundamentals and technicals, but you can see, again, everything that we're holding. You can see allocations, AUM, trades I make down here, and so forth. So that's all I have for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know why you think Tezos has kind of floundered in the comments below, and happy trading.